I'll come back once again with us live here in the studio is Mr. Ahmed Seddik. He is an Egyptologist, a historian, and of course a tourism expert. Good morning, Mr. Ahmed.
Good morning, Dina.
How are you doing?
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to ask you a very simple question that, of course, is not the biggest, that is not the most informative, but we're very curious to ask everybody who is an Egyptologist or historian who has to do with that great event happening tomorrow, inshallah. How do you feel? Now our dream have come true, and the whole world is coming. The top notch of world leaders and intellectuals and entrepreneurs and all VIP guests are coming over to witness the history of Egypt at a culmination. What does it reflect to you?
I'm excited to step into eternity's VIP lounge, where the pharaohs still flex, and the sun kisses and signs autographs on the cheeks of Ramesses the Great. Let me begin at the beginning with the genius of the Grand Egyptian Museum and how it is so grand. This is Ahmed Seddik, and I would like you to join me on a journey through time. When you look at the orientation of the Great Pyramid, it borrows from the traditions and the habit of civilization that the Egyptians laid down thousands of years ago. Look at how it faces north, south, east, west. Beginning at the north, you have gardens facing the north wind. This you will see inside at the apex of the pyramid. When you ultimately make that climb, you have a climb about 50 meters. So the museum, the genius loci, genius of the place, is located at the foot of the pyramids. Then you have that ascent. The pyramid is making, this is a new pyramid. It's a slip of the tongue, but it's actually deliberate. This new museum is not just a museum.
An extra pyramid.
It's a pyramid, yes. It is the great pyramid of Egyptology and cultural tourism. And that's why you have this ascent that will take you from the foot to the plateau of wisdom, of knowledge, of the golden age. So we begin at the foot, and then you have that ascent. In it you will find the apex, the pinnacle, the acme, the apogee of geometry and Tutankhamun. Yes, a young king, a dead king who enlivened Egypt in his lifetime and especially today. And one of my favorite pieces inside, you will see a chalice that is a wishing cup, nicknamed the wishing cup. It is inscribed with beautiful hieroglyphs. What do these hieroglyphs say? Listen to a poet from ancient Luxor, Thebes. May your ka, your spirit live. May you spend millions of years. You who love Thebes, sitting with your face to the north wind, your eyes beholding happiness. And those words connect the museum, the pyramids, the north wind, the orientation of the museum, and the great discoverer, the British archaeologist Howard Carter, who had the carvings. Those hieroglyphs are inscribed on his tomb in London. So this whole story is encapsulated. This is just one aspect. But then when you look at the entrance of the Grand Egyptian Museum coming from the southeast, it reminds me of Saqqara, this great necropolis. And in Saqqara, Egypt witnessed the rise of the stone pyramid age, the first pyramid in history, day one in the pyramid age, thanks to the genius of Imhotep. And who is Imhotep? The great mind, the fine mind behind the first pyramid. It was King Djoser's worry about leading an afterlife of neglect that had him elect an architect of great intellect, who was able to detect a way to protect and project the pharaoh's image to great effect. And the name of the architect was Imhotep, who was a scholar, an astronomer, a physician, a priest, and all in all, a polymath, all rolled into one. And that won him his reputation by imitation of the original into stone. It was Imhotep alone who allowed stone to set the tone. And from that point on, we are building in stone. So you will see more in the tradition of the ancient Egyptian in the Grand Egyptian Museum. Example 2, the stone architecture. When the Great Pyramid was finished, it was covered with fine white limestone from Tura on the east bank. And that fine finish of lime made it hard to climb, adding to the expectation of the sublime, and the pharaoh had a good time. This shining facade is reflected in the Grand Egyptian Museum in what I acronymize, turn into an acronym, as TAP. So you will find a tap on the museum to tap into the genius of the Egyptian, the ancient Egyptian. That is, what do I call it? Translucent alabaster panels. Those panels are reminiscent of the facade on the Great Pyramid.
They're told transparent?
Yeah, translucent, almost, yes. So during the day, they allow a bit of light to illuminate splendidly the interior of the museum in an excellent, splendid, energy-efficient green museum. A marvel. Then at night, they are also illumined. Then you will find that the facade of the museum is adorned with a constellation of royal cartouches. But they are not all the cartouches. Why? We, as modern Egyptians, are rewriting history, just like the ancient Egyptians. When you make a king list, it's not everybody. In ancient Egypt, when you go to a king list, as in Abydos, you don't find Queen Hatshepsut. But today, we recognize great women and women. So we uplift and uphold a great woman like Hatshepsut. You find her name in the cartouche, repeated on the grand facade of the Egyptian Museum. You see? But then you look at all
the statue also?
Of course. Oh, inside, yes. When you make the ascent,
a cartouche and then a statue inside.
Inside you will find the glorious Hatshepsut.
So the use of translucency, it reflects how women supposed to be illuminating.
You could argue that too, yeah, because you have this. See, you capture what I had in my. Yeah, I was about to say, because the Grand Egyptian Museum, this is the ultimate signature of Egypt's soft power. And Tutankhamun, he was the king of soft power. Unlike the mighty Thutmose III, who, thanks to his military prowess and genius, he extended the domain of Egypt, the jurisdiction of the Egyptian empire. Yeah, so he witnessed the highest imperial moment. And we know him from the Battle of Megiddo. Yet, it is Tutankhamun who conquered the entire world without any army. Just a charming army, curiosity and passion and love and art at the highest point, at the apex. Now, when you look at the cartouches and this facade, you will find a gap, like as if
a hole.
Yes, a hole. Is it a mistake? How could it be in this fine architecture? I call it granditecture, and the grand gesture to the might of Ramesses the Great, a man of peace and war. Because this gap allows the light, the rays of the sun to penetrate and then illumines, it lights up the face of Ramesses the Great, just like Abu Simbel. This astronomical phenomenon is replicated in an ingenious fashion in the Grand Egyptian Museum. You see, we are living up to the standard phenomenal data detected, a sacred site selected, Abu Simbel, granite, Aswan, all rolled into one. And this is just before you get in.
Just the beginning.
That's the beginning.
It's really amazing. I mean, we as Egyptians would be impressed. So thinking of people who are really fascinated, I mean, Europeans and specifically, about cultural tourism and historical tourism and all this, they would be so much impressed. This is what they're asking for. You know, summarizing history in just an entrance.
Yes, and you know what, another fine aspect, because this is not, as we have mentioned, and by now we all know, this is the grandest archaeological museum in the entire world. It surpasses the Louvre, the Metropolitan, the British Museum, for one civilization. And one way to get into the heart of this civilization and experience, when I orchestrate a hieroglyphic tour, imagine what if you have a hieroglyph on the cliff and then you start decoding. Because I see you were wondering about the integration of all the civilization into one single museum. This turns our museum, our gem, into a Rosetta Stone. Yes, remember that Rosetta Stone?
That is the second thing.
Now in the British Museum. The whole museum is now like one gigantic Rosetta Stone. How? What do I mean? Imagine if the Rosetta Stone had only one script, and not 3 scripts, what benefit for the decipherment? Nothing. But having hieroglyphic, demotic, and Ionian, which was a form of Greek, which for the French was all Greek, now that makes it a clue, because you can compare and contrast and discover. Now, so when you look at the whole continuum of Egyptian civilization in one big museum, you can make connection, that perfect nexus, the link. You see, knowledge is like, yeah, you find all this connectivity and you start deciphering. So that's why I'm fascinated also by a hieroglyphic walk into the museum. Then you can listen to the ancient Egyptian verbatim in their own words. A passport to the past. Huh?
Is it the voiceover that accompanies the guest? I mean,
no, I'm saying just when you look at the hieroglyphs and start reading. But yes, you're ahead of me, because as you mentioned, Dina, yes, we will have holograms, and you will have all these documentaries. There is a theater. It's a whole cultural complex, like a university and beyond.
There are holograms inside.
There will be holograms, and
it's part of the trip.
Yeah, part of the evolution of the museum experience.
Exactly, but if I'm visiting that museum, then I would see at one part, at one essential stop, I can see holograms that are relating history, they are talking, and it's like a documentary.
And you will see in the opening as well, yeah, so a glimpse of attractions to come.
You're taking me already on a
splendor to come, yeah.
It's a free ticket now to the gem. But just talking about the inscriptions, they are written on the walls or on some stones, or
yes. So beyond the facade, I'm talking now about, since we have the original, this museum, we're not talking about replicas. Here you have the actual masterpieces, and we're not doing highlights. You go to some of the finest museums around the world, and they tell you, we will give you a tour of the highlights. We have the whole enchilada. You know, we go the whole 9 yards to give you the Tutankhamun, yes, the Tutankhamun treasures. Yes, we are the founders of this. So we are showcasing the entire Tutankhamun, more than 5,000 masterpieces.
That is the pinnacle of all pinnacles.
And some are shown for the first time, actually plenty. Monuments galore.
President El-Sisi has said that on many accounts, that it's the whole set exhibited.
Yes.
Talk to us about this.
Yes, and yes, our president is passionately in love with the ancient Egyptian civilization, yeah, comme il faut.
Yeah, please.
So, you know, this is the genius of Tutankhamun. Have you ever wondered what Tutankhamun means? Tut-Ankh-Amen. That is the living image of the sun. So you see, all that orientation we have been talking about, the stellar constellation and the Orion orientation, it's all encapsulated in his name.
So you have the two?
As if the ancient Egyptians were consulting the constellation. In his very name, you find the sun, you see.
But because we're very short on time, talk to us about Tutankhamun's set, and how exactly are the people going to meet that particular beautiful surprise? What exactly is exhibited there at this particular place?
Unlike earlier finds, in antiquity, you know, just in the olden days, just before Tutankhamun, when you make a find as a foreign mission, like a British mission, Howard Carter, they used to divide up the finds.
Of course.
Right? But Tutankhamun is unique. It was Tutankhamun, he said, no. Now I give the microphone to Tutankhamun. He said, no. Egyptians, we were ruling from time immemorial. We are keeping everything. Thank you, Tut. So King Tutankhamun decided to keep all the artifacts. His entire treasure is here.
How many pieces? Around how many pieces?
More than 5,000, including the sarcophagi, the coffins, nestled into each other. Just like the small pyramid you see on the facade with nestling effects and the light effect.
It's open for all visitors.
Yes, all of it will be on display. Coffins nestled into each other, shrines, toys, food, like embalmed food for eternity. What do we have? We mentioned that chalices. We mentioned games, right? The Senate
How old
game.
was that beautiful king when he died?
He was about 19 years old. Yes. Just to give you a glimpse in the words of a sample in the words of the discoverer, who has this beautiful, splendid prose. You know the famous words, wonderful things. Then he reminisced. At first I could see nothing, the hot air escaping from the chamber causing the candle flame to flicker. But presently, as my eyes grew accustomed to the light, details of the room within emerged slowly from the mist. Strange animals, statues and gold. Everywhere the glint of gold.
I'm really sorry because we're running out of time, and my dear director Ghada is telling me that we're running out of time, but please tell us about the corridor that takes us to the pyramids at the back.
There is this
we can't leave without talking about this
enigmatic bridge, an ingenious bridge that's
How is
connecting. It's finished already, and you know there's also a metro. You can
exactly, but let's talk about the corridor.
But there is this bridge, because you know the Egyptians were great at buildings, so we are carrying on the tradition. So yeah, there is a bridge connecting the Grand Egyptian Museum with the Grand Pyramids. So you can 2 kilometers. You can walk if you want to show your pharaonic stamina. You make a stamina status. I am as good as a pharaoh. Let's walk from the museum, or vice versa.
How long is it?
2 kilometers.
2 kilometers.
And you can see and of course, when that new pyramid that we are unveiling tomorrow, the great pyramid of Egyptology and cultural tourism that we are unveiling, and it takes you up to the ascent. It's a statement. It's telling you, like, lift up yourself, think big. You are at the plateau of the golden age of the ancient Egyptians, and you will be given a pyramid view. This is the only museum in the world with a great pyramid view, the only surviving wonder of the 7 wonders. But you know what? This is a new wonder.
Of course.
It's a marvel.
It's a marvel.
Yes.
Yes, I'm really sorry that
and the image of it gives me content already, and I trust it will grow to a most prosperous perfection.
I'm personally really, I appreciate your words, and I appreciate the information that you have kindly, generously given us over this event. We're going to go through all of us tomorrow, and about GEM, and hopefully on a promise that you can pay us another visit here to the breakfast show and be able to continue talking about the Grand Egyptian Museum, maybe more elaborative explanation about more contents inside this gem.
Absolutely.
Because it's huge.
With pleasure, even through the museum itself.
Right, this is what we're hoping for. Very grateful to you, Dr. or Mr. Ahmed, the Egyptologist, historian, and of course tourism expert. Thank you so much for coming to us in the breakfast show.
Thank you, Dina, for having me.
My real pleasure. And of course now it's Howard Carter, a British archaeologist and Egyptologist, who discovered the intact tomb of the 18th dynasty Pharaoh Tutankhamun in November of the year 1922, the best preserved pharaonic tomb ever found in the Valley of the Kings. More details in the following report.